I feel the reflection's really strange. I can see your body, but my face. Over
Yes,
your...
a dream come true.
The dream combination.
Good evening, and welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Romesh Ranganathan. In the news this week, in Florida, there's a nightmare for one salon owner after he accidentally leaves the door open during President Trump's latest back, sack and crack. In Paris, there's growing tension as the head of French military intelligence realises he's accidentally activated his exploding pen. As the chaos at British ports continues, one very busy importer tries in vain to catch the eye of customs officials. And as a vaccine is rolled out in Britain, a relieved Matt Hancock takes his staff for a quiet celebratory drink. On Ian's team tonight is an artist who says he has only dressed as a woman 3 times since March. Mate, I've only dressed 3 times since March. Please welcome Grayson Perry. And with Paul tonight is a broadcaster who presents Radio 4's Museum of Curiosity. Oh, I wonder what that's all about. Please welcome Alice Levine. So, we begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Grayson, have a look at this.
Something very fishy. The Prime Minister. There's Monsieur Barnier doing a backward selfie.
Yeah, that's how scary it is.
He's bitten off more than he can chew.
Yeah. Is there any jokes left about Brexit? I don't know. I mean, that's the one thing that's run out now, isn't it?
Let's hope so.
Well, given that you've come as Mrs Thatcher...
Well, that's how old-fashioned this feels now. In the history of the world, has there been any process that has been sort of so kind of self-sabotaged and useless?
You've got
and
a
back
fly
to
on you.
square one?
You've got a fly here.
Have I? Oh, my God, a Mike Pence.
I'm so sorry, mate. Every now and again we get a pro-Brexit fly.
Yeah. I mean, where was I? I was...
We were establishing a no-fly zone.
Come on! Wow! Yes! Quality marks on that joke there, Paul.
No, after 30 years, Ian has justified his appearance in the programme.
Well, then you can follow suit.
Yeah, well, this is the alarming spike in news reports about Brexit, which has left most of the country struggling to stay engaged.
He is the spirit animal of the present sort of situation, isn't he?
Yes.
Brexit-wise.
It's a shame he doesn't fall over. I think he's done all the hard work, really, isn't he?
Well, the good news is this is the last show in the series, so you won't have to talk about it after tonight.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So the next series, it won't be an issue.
We'll be importing all the jokes from Germany next time.
Has anyone got any feelings about what might happen?
It's either a brilliant deal delivered by Boris in triumph, or it isn't. I can't guess at the moment. I literally don't know. But he's had dinner with a blonde, so that's a big plus.
We were supposed to read into what was on the menu, weren't we, with Boris and Ursula? We were supposed to read into what the items on each course were, and they had some kind of hidden meaning. They were supposed to be metaphors. So if he ate the second scallop, what does it mean? Like, is that preferable for us, for them?
Do you think it's just because they keep forgetting what they're meant to be negotiating? So they have a fish course. So they go, oh, fishing. Fish.
The waiter's an immigrant. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a classic all-nighter because they've had ages to do it, haven't they? So why have they left it till the last minute? And I feel like he's gone like, oh my God, I fell asleep at my desk. I've got another essay that I could just kind of tweak and, like, make it about the same thing.
Well, I bet you he's taken the essay over and they've read it and gone, no.
How did Boris get himself in trouble as soon as he arrived in Brussels?
Was this the mask etiquette situation?
Have a look at this.
You take our mask off first, you know?
Well, if we keep distance,
Keep distance.
then...
Okay, mask off.
And then we can take the mask off for a moment.
How are you? Good evening, everybody.
So, then we'll put it back on.
Let's put it back on immediately. Okay, right. Okay,
So, no chance.
We're on a tight ship here. Quite tight, too.
I love that Boris's whole thing is that he doesn't want to be bossed around by the EU. A whole protracted monologue where he gets completely told, yeah.
But I think that's been unfairly edited. It made him look like a buffoon out of his depth.
And her telling him that he had to keep at least 10 foot away. I mean, it's nothing to do with COVID, it's just general.
Is anyone surprised that these Brexit negotiations have reached such crisis point?
Not really. We have been doing it for ages, haven't we, Grayson and Fly?
It's, is it back?
It's back.
Yeah. Really interested to...
Where is it?
There are 3 of us in this partnership.
Oh, it's here, look.
Other side.
Oh, there you go. It's
there you
right. Certificate of...
I'm really sorry.
Did you use honey in your wig? What's happened?
I want to know, is he in equity?
Are we surprised that the negotiations have reached a crisis point?
People should be surprised. They spent years saying this would be an easy deal. It's oven ready.
Yeah.
It's only oven ready in the sense of all the ingredients are on the floor.
Boris Johnson definitely did think it was going to be easier than it has been. Have a look at this.
We have a deal with the EU that is ready to go.
This is the oven-ready pie.
We've got an oven-ready deal. Put it in the microwave. It is oven-ready. Whack it in. Gas Mark 1. I'm not a great cook.
Clearly.
I don't think you have gas Mark 1 on a microwave, do you?
I feel like he keeps bouncing off the cellophane if it's microwave ready. That's what's happening. You just can't actually get into the dish.
Prick with a fork. That's what you do with a microwave.
Do we know the exact details of the sticking point? What is the sticking point?
Brexit?
Yeah.
Essentially, we're a net importer of fish. The UK fishing industry is 0.1% of GDP. The idea that we're going to let this disrupt the entire negotiations is ridiculous. And most of the English fishing quota was sold by English fishermen to foreign fleets in the last 30 years when we were members. So you can't just say, we want to change it all now, because we've already instituted a system where we flogged half of it off to foreign fleets. So, I mean, it's boring, it's detail, it won't come up.
According to The Sun, who does Michael Gove call the Sausage King?
Duke of Cumberland. I'm wasting my time here, you know.
It's an affectionate term he uses for the Prime Minister.
Boris Johnson being called the Sausage King is like one of those nicknames that he'd pretend he doesn't like, but he really loves. Do you know what I mean? Just, oh, stop, oh, carry on.
All those people that give themselves a nickname. Everyone's calling me the Sausage King. No one's calling you the Sausage King.
It's actually the Slovakian EU Vice President, Marko Sefcovic.
Oh, yes.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Because he's enabled the sale of sausages across the border in Ireland. He's done a bit of negotiation just to prove that these things can be done.
Yeah, there was a mini sausage war.
That sounds like something that happens at a cocktail party, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
The sausages are full size.
Yes.
The war is mini.
Yeah.
Was that a bit like the cheese and pineapple war of 1853?
Yeah.
It's exactly the one, you're absolutely right.
They never signed a treaty on that either.
No. What have the Office for Budget Responsibility predicted if there's a no-deal Brexit?
Those guys are wild, by the way.
Oh, crazy. One of them, nicknamed the Sausage King.
Is that a 20% drop in GDP? Like a massive economic consequences from a no deal for us in Britain?
Yes, well, it's predicted that apparently would hammer manufacturing, financial services and agriculture. which is OK, obviously, because we've got the hospitality and retail industry to keep up.
That's dark.
That is really dark.
What has prominent Brexit supporter Sir Jim Ratcliffe done for British jobs this week?
He's moved his company from Wales to France.
He's given the jobs to France. Ratcliffe, who has often proclaimed the benefits of leaving the EU, as you said, has decided to site his new car manufacturing plant in France rather than Bridgend in Wales, which he previously suggested. He said France is better situated with access to foreign markets.
He makes a 4x4 vehicle called the Grenadier. So the Grenadier, I think, is meant to suggest British valour over the years, which didn't usually involve running away to France.
Basically, it just feels like we're all being put out of a job there. It feels like the politicians and businessmen are having a deep irony competition with each other.
Well, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to what he renames the Grenadier. I mean, it's presumably the Imperial Napoleonic Guard vehicle.
OK, so this is the return of Brexit, the topic which, back last January, had everyone moaning, I wish something else would dominate the news. On Wednesday night, Boris was in Brussels for urgent talks with Ursula von der Leyen. This occurred following days of tense negotiations, after which Carrie finally agreed he could have dinner with another woman. The government's nightmare scenario squad has listed what could lie in store for the UK this winter, including no-deal gridlock in Kent, heavy flooding in rural areas, a massive spike in COVID cases, and a Happy New Year. Paul and Alice, take a look at this.
Right, yes, Matt Hancock, I think I've been told he is. This is the vaccine arriving. Their dogs are being encouraged to vaccinate people. He's been vaccinated by a dog and he's very happy about it.
Never trust a doctor with a bow tie.
And they've mixed up the vaccine with the Viagra. The vaccine has arrived. We are the first country in the world to start injecting it into people. The dogs are very happy to come in and help because the NHS is strapped for people. I had my hair cut today because I vowed not to have my hair cut until the first person got the vaccine in this country, and so I hadn't been cut for about 10 months.
Oh, I wondered why. I thought it was because you looked a bit like Steve Bannon.
No, it was also... it was also because I could, Ian.
Oh, wow. So this is the news this week that Britons became the first people in the world to be inoculated.
The second person to get it was William Shakespeare.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, talk about going for the old people first.
Well, Maggie Keenan was patient zero, and in keeping with the Shakespeare theme, Maggie Keenan turned out to be a woman being played by a small boy. Do we know how William Shakespeare made Matt Hancock cry?
He cried on television.
I don't know that he did. I feel like
what do you think?
a kind of sort of side hustle that Pfizer had was to create some sort of saline solution that could look like real tears to make it look like Matt Hancock was really crying. Because it almost looked real, didn't it?
Well, let's have a look to see how convincing he was.
Just simple words there, reacting it. You're quite emotional by that.
Well, it's just, it's been such a tough year for so many people, and there's William Shakespeare putting it so simply for everybody that, we can get on with our lives.
I can't work out if he's laughing or crying. It doesn't seem...
Well, they're very similar, aren't they, laughing and crying?
They can be, yes, but usually you're able to determine which one the person is doing.
Yeah.
But there's a sort of strange melange of the two.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be an absolute nightmare at a funeral, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Also, the way he wiped away his tear was like he'd never done it before. It was sort of like up and like into his hairline. It's like, has this never happened to him?
Save that for later.
Yeah, we'll have that and back into the little capsule that they've given me.
Out of nowhere, I've just had a brilliant business idea. Whoopee graves, like a whoopee cushion, right? And when the coffin goes down in the grave, it makes a loud farting noise. No, OK, forget it. I've got too enthusiastic.
That would be the appropriate reaction to a whoopee grave, that.
Good idea, wrong place.
We sort of needed the second person to get the vaccine to be called William Shakespeare because we needed puns, didn't we? We needed the conspiracy theorists to be able to say much of flew about nothing.
Flew gentleman of Verona.
It seems no-fly zone was quite some time ago. Flew gentleman of Verona. gentleman of Verona?
A fart grave whoopee cushion.
That's my idea. That's my idea.
The NHS has asked people not to turn up expecting a vaccine, but how did Martin here get his?
Did he get it in a tombola?
He didn't, but I do think vaccination tombolas are a great idea.
Thank you. I'd like you to all note that I came up with that.
I think that sounds like something that Paul's whoopee grave company might diversify into.
Everybody's talking about it. They laughed at me on Dragon's Den. They're not laughing now.
I've got a lot of time for Martin. All he did was call up and ask for one, didn't he?
Very, very politely.
Have a look at this.
I'd like you to tell us how you came to get the vaccine this morning, how it happened.
I rang up Guy's Hospital, which I know very well, so I've lived in London most of my grown-up life, and I said, what's this thing, you're doing the vaccination? They said, yes. And then they spent various times asking me questions about this and that, not very interesting, and I said, yes, no, and they said, we'll come at 12:30. Of course, I couldn't damn well find anywhere to park my car, so I was late. Anyway, I'm here now, and I got inside, and they duly put me on a list. I went off and had a rather nasty lunch, and then came back, and they were ready for me.
I also enjoyed that you said they asked me some not very interesting questions. What did he want? Like, OK, dream dinner party, who would they be?
You know how he excelled himself in an interview with Piers Morgan the very next day?
I actually don't.
Alice, you are going to absolutely love this.
Well, that's little Leo. He's 7, and your granddaughter's Molly 10.
Molly and Leo. What? Molly and Leo. Cool, you know that already.
I do. I know a lot about you, actually, Martin, because I found you such a brilliant
interviewee.
You do. I also discovered, and this is extraordinary.
Now, who are you? Who are you?
Do you know what? That's classic Martin.
What did we learn this week could be a symptom of long COVID?
Loss of sense of humour?
Well, one infectious disease expert this week claimed that erectile dysfunction could be a new side effect of long COVID.
Oh, that's just Pfizer trying to get both their drugs in.
That's also just somebody trying to explain something away, surely. It's got to be long COVID. It's long COVID, yeah.
Ironically named.
Yeah.
A lot of celebrities have lined up to take the vaccine. Who's in?
Who's the ideal celebrity to play to the kind of anti-vaxxer audience?
Yeah, you need to pick carefully, don't you?
Yeah, you do. So you've got to kind of... if he's doing it, then I think we should.
What about David Icke?
Yeah, exactly. That's the guy. That's what you need. The Lizard King.
I mean,
whatever.
that would be helpful if he went up and said, look, it turns me into a lizard.
Well, the Sunday Mirror rounded up a number of vintage A-listers for their lead story. One of the celebrities to say that they would take the jab was Eamon Holmes. The last few weeks have been awful for him. He can't even go down the local pub because they don't have enough food to give him a substantial meal. Another age celebrity encouraging the elderly to take the vaccine is Ronnie Wood. Though that's less of a ringing endorsement. He'll take anything through a syringe. While finally, Lulu told the Mirror she'd take the vaccine because she didn't want to get COVID and feel unwell.
Oh, my God.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I haven't been to a gig in months. That was beautiful.
Who was caught flouting the lockdown rules this week?
Oh, is it Rita Ora? No, it's the other Kate Burley.
Yes, that's right, yes.
Is it Kate?
Kate Burley, yeah.
Kate Burley,
Sky News.
Yeah, she got caught having a little dinner with a few colleagues, I think.
It's a birthday party. They tried to cover up the fact that they had a party of 10 people. It was 6 at one table and 4 at the other, and everybody knows that's illegal in Tier 2. They've lost their jobs for 6 months and 3 months, unlike some other people. You know, I don't want to bring up Dominic Cummings because it's pathetic to keep bringing him. So it was her and Beth Rigby. It is their job to get public figures to squirm about breaking the rules.
If hypocrisy was a crime...
You'd get suspended for
We'd all
6
be in
months.
prison.
Yeah.
Why is it particularly embarrassing for Kay Burley?
She has, in the past, questioned other people for breaking the rules.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Was it because it was a shit party?
Have a look at this unbelievable clip.
The point I'm making
the point
is
you're
that everybody
making-
at
the
home
point you're
is
making is-
screaming at the telly saying, it's one rule for us and it's one rule for them. And you're falling into that trap.
She did say one rule for us, though, to be fair. So she did include herself in that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Next question. How did a man in Italy get into trouble for flouting COVID rules this week?
Is this the Pope?
It's an Italian man who was stopped by police and fined €400 for breaking curfew after he got into an argument with his wife over lockdown, stepped outside to cool off, and ended up walking for over 280 miles. It took him a week, and here's his route.
Oh, that is a huff.
That's a proper argument. That's a row.
That is a Barney.
Now, Grayson, COVID gets a lot of stick.
Yeah, unfairly so.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's all been very one-sided, to be honest
no,
with
I
you.
know where this is going. I don't want to talk about it.
OK, cool.
My words were taken out of context.
Oh, really?
All I can say, yeah.
Well, OK, so what the question was alluding to was...
You gave a full Thatcher glare there. It was
We
scary.
can clear this up. Well, you said that COVID-19 will help the art sector get rid of dead wood. Were your words taken out of context?
Yes, they were, and some PR went mad all over it, and they got on my fucking tits.
It will be difficult to cut around.
Yeah, that is...
I can see that.
That's... So this is the rollout of the COVID vaccine, starting with the most elderly. This is a real boost for care homes, but a real blow for my mum, who's lost her last excuse not to go in one. Talking about the vaccine rollout on Good Morning Britain, Matt Hancock broke down in tears. Matt Hancock went on to say that despite us having a vaccine, let's not blow it now. Well said, Matt. It would be awful if we somehow blew it and ended up with one of the worst mortality rates in the world and a test and trace system run off XL. After she was caught breaking COVID restrictions on a night out, Sky bosses said that Kay Burley wasn't out of the woods yet. Oh, come on, Kay, not dogging as well. And so to round two. I'm very excited about this, by the way.
Yes.
It's time for the Snow Globe of News.
Oh, you treat us. Ah, it's the Snow Globe of News.
Fingers on the buzzers, teams.
Oh, this is so Christmassy.
Yes, Grayson?
This is the news that a campaign has been waged by the good women of my home county to have the phrase Essex girl removed from the dictionary because it has a derogatory meaning. White stilettos, a lot of tan, and kind of likes a cocktail, likes a Dayglow cocktail or seven. I'm all for it. Basically, I am an Essex girl. I will celebrate it. Good on them. In fact, I think it should be a treasured. I think we should immediately get onto UNESCO now.
Grayson, you're absolutely right. This is the news that Oxford University Press has finally agreed to actually change its definition of women from Essex. So that's famous Essex girl Gemma Collins there. Do we know what she thinks of the dictionary?
The dictionary is a wonderful book because you can just, move the words in any order and create whatever story you like.
You want to copyright that idea?
I've got enough on my plate at the minute. I'm glad it keeps getting mentioned because I might seriously take this up as a business because this amount of advertising would cost me millions normally.
But the truth is, Gemma Collins is actually a big fan of the dictionary. Have a look and see what you think.
It is absolutely outrageous in today's society that the dictionary, which I'm a massive fan of the dictionary, we should be, promoting the dictionary anyway because, it is such an amazing, historical British thing, isn't it?
You can see Samuel Johnson just turning in his grave with pleasure.
Don't.
Well,
Don't.
You know what has put a smile on his face? Particularly if Boswell was there to describe it.
Yeah.
So, in an edition of the dictionary designed for foreign learners, Essex girls are described as not intelligent, dress badly, talk in a loud and ugly way, and are very willing to have sex.
That's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a bit much. It's foreign learners turning up going, this is going to be incredible. Anybody got any ideas how the Oxford English Dictionary now describe Essex girls?
I wonder if they'd use a word like glamorous.
Looking red carpet ready in Redbridge.
The truth is, it's not actually that much better. I mean, it's kind of a polite way of being just as rude. This is a definition. They're described as unintelligent, promiscuous and materialistic. In other news, Nigella Lawson was mocked for her pronunciation this week. Do you know?
Oh, yes. This is very Hyacinth Bucket, or Hyacinth Bouquet.
It is, yeah.
Now, I'm aiming for quite a solid mash at this stage, but I still need a bit of milk, full fat, which I've warmed in the microwave.
No, that's a deliberate joke, isn't it? It's a joke in order to sort of, like, get a publicity on a show like this. I mean, that people will stoop to such elements like that just to publicise whatever business they're in, I think.
Microwave. It's like saying whoopee cushione.
OK, so this is the news that an insulting definition of Essex girls has been removed from the dictionary. The campaign to remove the offensive definition of Essex girls has been backed by many men in Essex who told the dictionary compilers, leave it out. Listen, I know I shouldn't use this programme as a soapbox, but as a member of a minority myself, I think it's brilliant this country is finally dealing with the historic oppression of white people in Chelmsford. OK, here we go. I think it's on buzzers.
Well, I mean, it's self-explanatory, isn't it? Donald Trump's appealing to aliens to see if they can fix the American election for him.
This one said, take me to your leader.
Yeah, this is the accusation that Donald Trump's been hiding the existence of aliens on Earth. He's not done a great job of it, has he? Who's accused Trump of consorting with otherworldly beings?
It's not his children.
It's actually respected former Israeli Defence Minister Haim Eshed. He says that Trump's administration has been in contact with aliens, but he hasn't said how, he's just said they've been in contact.
Well, if nobody wants to talk to him here...
That's a very good point. Has anybody got any idea what the deal is that Trump has made with the aliens?
Is it oven ready?
Apparently, Eshed told the Jerusalem Post this week there is an agreement between the US government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here. And thankfully, the experiment ends next month when Joe Biden gets sworn in. Anybody got any idea why it's a big secret?
I suppose it would be quite interesting to people if there were aliens.
Well, Haim Eshed says it's all the aliens' idea, apparently. That's the reason for the secret. As
Being modest.
Yeah, they don't think we're ready for the truth yet.
Oh, sure.
Adding, they want to make us sane first.
And they started talking to Donald Trump.
Well, Joe Biden's had a beer named after him this week called Railcar 1, Wilmington to Washington, in honour of his journey from Delaware to the presidency. Why won't Biden get to try the beer?
Is he teetotal?
He is teetotal. He stopped drinking during Prohibition. It didn't stop one Fox News reporter making a terrible joke about a beer named after a president. Any guesses?
Was there a president called IPA?
That would be handy, wouldn't it? Let's have a look.
It's an IPA, but it might make you want to say, ale to the chief, Brett.
A bad joke well delivered? Do we agree with that?
Many people have made fabulous careers in comedy in the same way.
Yeah, I wouldn't...
Why are you looking over here? Anyway, I don't care about comedy anymore. I've got a red-hot business scheme. And I'm not saying anything more about it.
I'm agreeing with both halves of that statement.
So, this is the news that Donald Trump has been in contact with aliens. Also this week, Donald Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, tested positive for coronavirus. That result is now being contested in the Supreme Court. Fingers on buzzers, teams.
Is this about social distancing, by any chance?
No, it's not about social distancing.
All right, OK.
I didn't know Father Christmas was married. He's got a wedding ring on.
Mrs. Claus?
Yeah, to Mrs. Christmas.
You didn't know
Mrs. Claus, Mrs. Christmas?
Yeah.
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I never... What does she do then?
Does she do a lot of the wrapping?
Well, this is actually the news that even Christmas can't improve the dumpster fire that is 2020. Every year, somewhere promises a Christmas wonderland only to underdeliver in spectacularly bleak circumstances. Where was that this year?
Is it Britain?
It's actually Santa's magical drive-through adventure in Hull. What a surprise. What was the problem with the enchanted forest? Any ideas?
No trees.
And it wasn't enchanted?
Have a look at the enchanted forest.
That's...
It's enchanting.
Well, it's drunk.
One parent basically complained about the presence of the Christmas Grinch, who sort of stalks your car for a bit, whilst another described him as making them feel like they were in one of those horror walkthrough things. I mean, I'm sure he's not that bad.
Oh, my God.
He looks like what people are scared of what might happen if you take the vaccine. Does anybody know what happened to Mrs. Claus?
Well, up to a few minutes ago, I didn't know anything of her existence, so...
Organisers revealed that she didn't turn up because she missed her bus. Adding, I had to get someone else into the costume, which may explain why one parent told the Daily Mail that Mrs. Claus was stood there with a right face on, doing nothing. In other news, how has Santa Claus been making some extra cash this Christmas? He's been roped in by Poundland to voice their self-service checkouts. Let's see what happens when your card gets declined.
Ooh, card not accepted. Is it on the naughty list? Because I'm checking it twice. I'm gonna find out who's naughty or nice.
I've never seen a better advertisement for shoplifting in my life.
I wonder who the actor is.
Actor?
That's Father Christmas.
It's Santa. What expensive Christmas mistake did Hartlepool resident Ray Liddell make this week?
Is it something to do with Christmas lights outside his house?
He ordered this inflatable Grinch online, but he didn't realise it was actually this big.
He's got a huge house, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. That might be normal size. He might live in a doll's house.
In other news, according to the Sunday Telegraph, because of COVID, several companies have launched Santa on Zoom initiatives, including one in Finland which costs £71 for 5 minutes.
Ow.
Of which the first 4 minutes are spent with the desperate child shouting, "Santa, you're on mute! Unmute! Bottom left! Bottom left!" Every Christmas, the role of Santa is traditionally taken by out-of-work actors. So, as you can imagine, this year the auditioning process has been really competitive. Mark Rylance only got down to the final 3 at Harrods. Time now for the odd one out round. Just one between you this week. Your 4 are Amber Rudd, Peter Alice, Sir Keir Starmer and Michael Gove. Well, I'll give you a clue. It's to do with a rumour about Keir Starmer.
I think Keir Starmer was the basis for a character in Bridget Jones's Diary for Darcy, or at least that was the rumour.
You are absolutely right. They've all helped to make a film, apart from Keir Starmer, who wasn't, despite the rumours, an inspiration for Bridget Jones's Diary.
Michael Gove helped to make a film.
Yes, he did.
The Grinch.
This week, writer Helen Fielding finally put paid to a long-held rumour that Keir Starmer was her muse behind the love interest in the novel, telling Times Radio he's very similar, but not the inspiration, thereby ending any hope of there being anything remotely interesting to say about Keir Starmer. What advice did Helen Fielding have for Keir Starmer?
Has he got something about letting go and sexing himself up a bit?
You're absolutely right. She told Times Radio that Starmer doesn't think of himself as sexy, but he's really sexy.
Nothing that makes you feel sexier than somebody going, "You're sexy.
Yeah, you're so
Be sexy."
I know. I keep
Stop not being sexy. Sexy.
I keep telling my mum that. Peter Alice, do you know what his role was or his involvement in Goldfinger?
He coached Sean Connery.
Yeah, Alice was paid to teach Sean Connery to play golf for the opening scene. Apparently, Peter Alice's brief included teaching Bond how to put a flag back in the hole. Odd job.
Do we not have a joke along the lines of Goldfinger?
Yeah, I should, yeah.
Do you put them out to tender now?
Before becoming an MP, Amber Rudd worked on...
she was on Four Weddings and a Funeral.
She was on Four Weddings and a Funeral. Do you know what her job was?
The aristocratic crowd in the congregation of Four Weddings.
Ian, you're right. She was an aristocracy coordinator. Now, Paul, you cast doubt on the insinuation that Michael Gove was involved in a film.
Well, I don't cast doubt, but I don't know. I'd love to know what the film is.
He once appeared in the film A Feast at Midnight.
Right.
He is actually playing a vicar. And we've got his big scene for you now. Have a look at this incredible clip.
Oh!
Stephen, I'm coming. Oh, they've just launched. Whatever made you come out?
There he is there.
Oh, my.
That was a no ball.
How is a cardigan around his waist more compelling than his performance?
Saying a prayer for the guy's knackers or something, I guess.
It's an old C of E service.
Michael Gove starred in a film with Christopher Lee, who the Metro described as one of our greatest ever actors, which he proved when the film was over and he said, "Lovely to work with you, Mr. Gove." Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication, Harmonica World, a publication for British harmonica enthusiasts. How would you rate it on a scale of A to G? And we start with surprise as Alfred Hitchcock turns up what?
First in queue for the vaccine.
There's no missing word. Turns up his nose at rhubarb pudding.
Turns up trousers.
Surprise as Alfred Hitchcock turns up on belly of cat. This week, Daisy the New York cat hit the headlines for her unusual markings that resemble the film director.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
I mean, never mind Hitchcock. What's he doing staring at ex-Soviet leader Brezhnev? Next, if you're playing the harmonica in public, what is not a cool thing to do?
Make a noise.
Is it wearing a mask?
No, the actual answer is, if you're playing the harmonica in public, copying other people's solos is not a cool thing to do. This is an article from Harmonica World about performing in front of a crowd, although my advice is, if you're playing the harmonica in public, please don't. Next, Rishi Sunak upsets farmers in his constituency by what?
Castrating a bull with his teeth.
He did do that, but he didn't upset anyone.
Oh.
They're going for a walk.
It is to do with him going for a walk, but it's actually what he was wearing.
Oh, was he wearing sort of blue Hunter Wellingtons?
Yes, he was.
That's what he was.
Rishi Sunak upsets farmers in his constituency by wearing blue wellies. According to The Observer, Rishi Sunak made the rookie error of trying to look natural in the countryside by buying a pair of blue Wellington boots. I mean, I've been to the countryside as an Asian man. I can tell you it's not the colour of your boots that gets you funny looking. Next, Dominic Cummings tops list of Britain's top what?
Optometrists.
It's not optometrists.
Best dressed men.
It's not. It's not best dressed men, no. It's actually Dominic Cummings' tops list of Britain's top chat-up lines on Tinder. This week, Tinder revealed a list of words most used for chat-up lines on the app, with Dominic Cummings being the most commonly used. Which makes sense. If I went on Tinder, my best bet would be someone who had the eyesight of Dominic Cummings. Next, Olympics branded a mockery after inclusion of what for 2024 Paris Games?
Sarcasm.
Connect Four?
Oh, I know this. This is breakdancing.
It is breakdancing. Olympics branded a mockery after inclusion of breakdancing for 2024 Paris Games. This week, Olympics organisers shocked the world by announcing that breakdancing would become an Olympic sport. And in another change of tradition, instead of a medal, the winner gets a gold chain. Next, a digitised collection of what set up in case of nuclear apocalypse?
The Beano. Exchange and Mark.
Emergency phone numbers, because they just had them on a bit of paper before.
No, it's actually a digitised collection of world's cultural treasures set up in case of nuclear apocalypse. Amongst the world's most important cultural relics that we preserve for posterity are the Mona Lisa, the complete works of Shakespeare, and Michael McIntyre's The Wheel. And finally, audio for controversial sex scene in The Archers was made using what?
Genuine audio from a sex scene.
No.
A bar of soap, a double-decker bus and a pot of jam.
You're actually...
Not, yeah.
What do you mean I'm not far off?
Was made using a baking tray and some baby lotion.
The mind boggles.
I mean, I don't know about you, but that's how I do it. One of the actors involved said all the squishy noises were done using baby lotion, while I said silly lines of dialogue that led you to believe the soap was in an interesting place. It definitely wasn't. It was in an episode of The Archers. So, the final scores are Ian and Grayson have 5, and Paul and Alice have 7.
I'm sorry, Grayson.
But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
Essex girl gets revenge on compiler of Oxford English Dictionary.
Next.
I'm knocking off your missus.
Did you get invited to Kay Burley's party?
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Grayson Perry, Paul Merton and Alice Levine. And I leave you with news that in Downing Street, Jonathan Van Tam tries to leave with the evidence after accidentally sitting on Carrie Simmons' pet hamster. Just as the Duke of Edinburgh settles down to watch the racing, his tab of acid kicks in. And in London, after 10 months, Paul Merton gets his hair cut. Good night.